Scotch has won the toss. They're elected to switch to the southern end of the ground with the wind. Ladies and gentlemen, please be upstanding for the national anthem.
Hello everybody and welcome to our Grand Final NTFA Division 2 Senior Grand Final Day here at Youngtown today on what's a slightly overcast day. We're seeing patches of sunshine every now and then, and we're about to get underway with the Senior Grand Final between St Patrick's Saints and the Old Scotch Collegians. And here we go with the first bounce in the centre of the ground. And Daniel Ellis, first possession, quick hands out to a running teammate there who I think was Dart. Ball inside 50 already for Scotch. Trying to get through traffic, squeeze the ball out. Now, what can the St Patrick's defence do with this? Scotch keep the footy. Last time these two, oh dear, that was a terrible kick. Last time these two teams met, of course, Old Scotch inflicted St Pat's one and only defeat on them for the season, a 2-point defeat in the major semi-final. And now they clash again on Grand Final day. Scotch going towards the southern or airport end of the ground, and St Pat's in this first quarter kicking into the wind to the northern end of the ground, or the city end, whatever you prefer. And there's going to be a high tackle here paid by umpire Thompson, and it's going to go to St Pat's, and it's going to be taken for them by the man that I haven't got a name for, number 30 for St Pat's. We're about to find him out for you. Daniel Ellis with the ball at the moment close to the boundary line there for Scotch, and in fact out over the boundary line, and we'll have a boundary throw in. Boundary throw in, no one can take the ball cleanly, comes to ground. Ellis again, 3 possessions early in this term, Ellis. Busy player, of course, the Old Scotch best and fairest winner. Umpires for today's game, in the field umpires, we have Harris, Tregertha and Thompson. Boundary umpires Doyle, Lane and Brown, and goal umpires Sykes and Egger. Todd Rattray is number 30 for St Pat's. Now, we should do our usual thing here and declare our hand early in the piece that I only get to see these players once a year, and I'm bound to make some mistakes, but I'm sure you'll understand that. You'll know who you're seeing on your screen as a 50-metre penalty is imposed by umpire Thompson. The recipient will be Daniel Ellis, and he'll end up well inside 50 and will kick for goal from some 30 metres out, dead in front, kicking to the wind-assisted end here at Youngtown. Pitches today being brought to you by our good friend Arnie at Carter Productions, as Daniel Ellis shoots on goal. First goal in the grand final to Old Scotch, and going to best and fairest winner Daniel Ellis. Yes, as I was saying, Carter Productions bringing us the pictures today. If you've got any requirements in video or audio conversions or transfers, whatever you like, Arnie's the man to see down there at Carter Productions in George Street in the city in Launceston. Ball back in the centre of the ground. Comes to ground. Forced out of there by Old Scotch once again, going forward. Quick hands there by McFadgen. Scotch swing the ball around. Ellis again gets the loose ball, tackled this time to ground. Picked up and snapped in there cleverly, however, by Allison. Ball running free. Crowd call ball, and it's going to be a Scotch free kick right in front of goal. And it's going to be taken for them by Sean Smith. So Smith lining up for Scotch's second goal in this opening term. Wind-assisted end to the southern end they're going. And made no mistake, he knew straight off the boot, Sean Smith. So 2 early goals in the grand final. Just 5 minutes old. And Scotch lead 2 goals straight. St Pat's yet to worry the scorer. Whistle on the centre bounce, and it's going to be a St Pat's free kick. Plays on immediately. The big ruckman drives it down on the left foot inside 50. Nice mark down there. Picked out of the air and almost run over in the rush. Scollier at 50. Puts it out into the pocket. Knocked away by the defence. Ellis in there once again and can't trap the ball before it goes out over the boundary line. Bit of a push and a shove going on there between Scollier and his opponent. Right to the top of the square. Old Scotch get it out. Oh, that's a high and mighty kick. It's going to stay inside 50. Should have been marked but wasn't by Ted Davis. So ball quickly transferred down to the Scotch end of the ground. 1-on-1 battle here. It'll be won by St Pat's. Too quick on the ground. Tom Wilson drives the ball out towards centre wing. Scotch work the ball free. Through the centre circle they come. Down towards centre half forward. Ball carries over the back of the pack. Open goal coming up, and he's missed. Shooting on goal there was Sean Smith again. And this time, inaccurate. So both teams still finding their legs early in this grand final. McFadgen takes the mark from the kick in just outside 50. He goes high as well, right down to the point of the square, over the back off hands and through for another minor score. So Scotch keeping the ball in their forward line early in this first term, 2-2-14. St Pat's have had a couple of forward forays but haven't been able to convert yet on the scoreboard. Here they go forward once again. Luke de Jong after the ball, picks it up cleverly. Then a terrible old kick. Comes back out. Ends up in the hands of Swallow. Then he passes it off. And they've taken another mark just at the top of the centre square. Waiting for some movement down forward. There's the lead coming from full forward, and he's found his man. And I think that might be Harvey. Sean Smith again, is it? Right. So, can he make it 2? Winds up, gives it plenty of air, and I think he's done it. He has. So, 2 goals in this opening stanza. To number 29, Sean Smith. So Scotch are away to a flyer. Just the start that they would have wanted. And just the start that St Pat's didn't want. The win of the toss might be all important. If they can continue to hit the scoreboard, Old Scotch going to that wind-assisted end in this term, right of your screen. St Pat's trying to get the ball out there through the agency of James. They can't. Whistle on play. Now, they feed it out towards half forward. St Pat's with the numbers there in defence. Can they make something of it? Old Scotch certainly attacking the footy with plenty of zest. This way, that way, back to Ellis. Ellis gets around traffic. He in turn takes the long shot at goal and misses to the right-hand side. Leading possession getter on the ground so far, Daniel Ellis. He's going to this contest as well as it goes high. Push out there to McFadden, not noticed by the umpire. So the ball comes to ground. No one can take clean possession. Finally, Scotch do. No one can mark the ball. Comes to ground. Whistle. It's going to be a Scotch free kick. And leading to the ball is that man Smith again, who with Daniel Ellis has been the prime movers for their side, and he's going to line up for goal number 3. He gives it plenty of air, and he gives it plenty of accuracy, and 3 first quarter goals to Sean Smith. There was a Sean Smith played at full forward for Melbourne many years ago, I'm led to believe. It's all right, Nathan, it was before your time. No, it wasn't before his time. Nathan Bester says he can remember. And if he can remember, it's right, because he's very good on his statistics. Ball back in the centre of the ground. St Pat's win the tap out this time through the agency of the big ruckman, James Miller. Inside 50 and quickly on by hand. Here's their first shot at goal. And he makes no mistake. Paul Kelly puts the first goal on the board for the Saints. So finally, they've hit the scoreboard at the 12-minute mark of this first term. 4-3-27 plays 1 straight goal 6. In Division 2, senior grand final day here at Youngtown. Umpire throws it up in the centre of the ground. McFadden wins the tap out. Trying to take clean possession there, Pedley. Gets it forward. Plenty of St Pat's numbers there, and they kick it back towards the wing where there's equally just as many Scotch numbers, and the mark juggled and taken there for them. top of the 50-metre arc. There's a whistle, and it's going to be a free kick to the big St Pat's man in James Miller. He in turn gets it out to Taylor. Not sure where to go at the moment, so he decides to take it wide. Out towards centre wing on the far side of the ground. Play on, says the umpire. Good umpiring. I like to see the umpire that ignores the man appealing for the free kick. I reckon if he's got time to appeal for the free kick, he doesn't want the footy too much. Throw in. Down it comes. McFadgen trying to get it to Ellis. Couldn't. Out over the boundary line. Centre wing throw in. On the eastern side of the ground. Good crowd in, as you can see from our camera shot there. Ruck battle to take place between Miller and McFadgen. St Pat's win it away from that contest. Punched away there, big punch by Docking to the boundary line out there in front of the pavilion. The drinking pavilion, that is. And there's even a few patrons over there partaking of a quiet drink. Ball catches the wind and drifts away to the right-hand side of the pack. St Pat's by a hand, get it back where it's kicked out of there by Reynolds. No one can win the loose ball. Here comes Scotch. Quickly inboard. That's a nice kick, lands in the arms there of Terry. Terry goes forward to that fast leading man again, Sean Smith. And he's rapidly taking over as the best man on the ground at this stage, and that might be 50. It is. And this is going to put Alex McKenzie right on the line. It's dark, it is. Sorry, not McKenzie. Thought it was the number 6, but it's a number 5. So, Jock Dark. Jock Dark sees daylight straight over the goal umpire's head, and he gets on the board in the grand final with a goal as well. So, it's 5 in this opening quarter now to Scotch. 5-3-33 leads one straight goal, 6. And we're approximately halfway through this first term, 15, 16-minute mark just ticked over. So the big men to do battle, Miller and McFadgen. No one with a clean hit out. McFadgen goes down, ball knocked out of his hand. Miller struggles at forward, the opposing ruckman. Going to ground there a little easy was Scollier. Scotch wanting the footy a little bit more than St Pat's in this first term. Now Nathan James gets it and puts it out towards the pavilion side out there on the ground near the top of the 50. No one can win clean possession once again. Picked up there for St Pat's by Morosini. And Scotch in the last line of defence take the relieving mark. And Matthew Harvey. Ends up in the centre square in the hands of Dark, the goal kicker a few moments ago. Perched under the footy there was Teddy Davis. I've been everywhere, man, Teddy. Great guy, Ted. Just likes to travel, that's all. Inside 50 we go again. Mark taken away over there on that far side in the sunshine that's come out again here at Youngtown at the moment. Puts it to the top of the square. Oh, nice mark. Taken by the big ruckman, Lachlan McFadgen. Gives it off by hand. Comes out here in the direction of Dark. He's outnumbered Dark, tries his hardest, but he can't beat 2. Now it goes inside. Oh, play on quickly. Had a quick look over the shoulder to see where his opponent was. Took a bit of a sidestep and away he went. Oh, numbers here with Old Scotch once again. Cleanly picked up there for them by Matthews. Puts it down to the top of the square. That man again, got a bit of toe about him, has Sean Smith. Now picked up there for them by Daniel Withers. That's St Pat's. Gets it out. Down to the big man. Bends down. Gives him a big task. Picks it up. Withers, Nathan James it was. Hesitated there for a moment for St Pat's. Now they've got it inside 50. What can they do with it this time? Turns around. Good smother. Oh, it lands in the hands there of Reynolds. Bit of a stalemate now. That could have been illegal disposal, but the umpire allowed it to go on. And there's a strong mark been taken down there for Old Scotch by Fletcher Seymour. So Seymour comes to the broadcast side of the ground. The boundary line over the back of the pack will be the winner. So substitutions taking place here down in front of us for both sides. St Pat's running 2 off at the moment. Whoa, bit of a heavy clash there. Now ends up in the hands of De Jong, who's a wobbly old kick again. Play on, says the umpire. Scotch, arms free, gets the handball out. It'll land out here in the hands once again of Matthews. So Matthews, inside 50. Nudged out of it this time was Smith. He's got to lead to the ball and show his speed. He can't match it in a physical push and shove down there. That's a high ball round the far side centre wing. No one knew where it was in the finish. And coming out of it will be a Scotch free kick. Not allowed to play on immediately. Umpire sends him back. So we start again. And that wasn't a real class kick. Cut off there by Chris Hay. And now we'll have a boundary throw in. Alex Saunders waiting in front of us down here to come on as a substitute for St Pat's. And the goal kicker, Sean Smith, comes off for a spell. 3 goals in 1 quarter would be enough, I think, so he's probably earned his spell. 3 out of 5. 33 plays, 6. 21 minutes have elapsed in the first quarter as Scotch worked the ball around that outer side again. St Pat's finding it difficult to penetrate once they get it to half forward at the moment. Getting plenty of positions here across the centre of the ground, but they're not doing much with him. And now he's been called to play on, tackled from behind, and the tackler will be rewarded. So Scotch have a chance to go forward once again. I'd like to think that they'd probably need a couple of extra goals here to really make use of this breeze. Always hard to play catch-up. If you can make your opposition have to play catch-up, they might well catch up, but they lose a lot of energy doing it, and then they've got to go on with it. So a good lead would be handy here. Coming off half-back with the footy is Morosini. Scotch holding up once again on their back 50. McFadgen going into the centre. Didn't really want to find Tom Wilson, but he did. So Wilson looking for De Jong. De Jong will juggle the mark. His kicking lets him down, Luke De Jong. It's his 3rd wobbly old kick, but this time he's found Chris Hay, who goes forward and finds Scollier. Scollier about to cross 50, chips it inside to full forward. Over the top comes McFadgen with a big punch. Now he'll get it back. Then he'll give it back again. Space here for Scotch. They race it out to the wing, where Matthews has a bit of a fumble. Went to drag his opponent down, found himself in possession of the footy, couldn't do anything with it. Dive taken out of there by Mackenzie. Didn't really look good. Ted Davis gets the footy and finds an Old Scotch opponent. Bowled, clean bowled. Picked up at the back though by Wilson. It's a little sideways chip, finds his teammate there in Dickenberg. He goes to centre wing. Looking for but not quite finding Brad Pearton down there. Off his hands out over the boundary line. Sun doing its best to entertain us periodically here. Ted Davis having a run in the ruck now for St Pat's. Scotch taken away towards the wing area looking for Sean Muller, who we haven't seen much of yet in the game, but I well remember Sean Muller being a match winner in a grand final for Georgetown a few years back. Now playing with Old Scotch. Ball not doing much over there on centre wing, not much happening at all. No one can get it out. Now, Ellis gets it out. Scotch just look a little bit quicker at the moment for mine. Kick on goal and a goal. We'll pick the man up for you in a minute. And it's Alex Saunders. So, took use of the tackle, but slung him sideways, got his foot to the ball, and the tackle did the rest for him as it pulled him around, put it through for a goal. 6 first quarter goals to Old Scotch. They lead 6-3, 39 to 1 straight goal. Luke de Jong gets another possession. This time he goes by hand, out in the direction of Lindsay. Lindsay picks it up on centre wing, has one bounce, now steadies, goes just inside 50, and the mark will be taken there on his chest by James Miller. The big ruckman being told to get around by the umpire. Good defensive work there by Scotch. St Pat's looked comfortable in the front position, but took it all a little easy and punched away by the defence, and now it's back on centre wing and out of bounds. Boundary umpire about to do his work. Ted Davis, big swipe over the back, lands in the hands of Morosini. Inside 50 they go again. Oh, was that high? It looked high from here, and it is high. And a little bit of a push and a shove develops over there. Just to entertain the pavilion spectators. And Scotch will get that resultant free kick from the high tackle. And now they'll get 50-metre penalty. Umpire Harris not impressed. And now they'll get a 100-metre penalty. And this could be costly. And streaking back onto the ground on interchange, there's Sean Smith sneaking up this right-hand side of the ground, calling for the footy, but he's not going to get it. Right on 50, stands the man on the mark. Didn't quite get hold of the kick. No one can mark it. Yes, he has marked it on the third attempt. St Pat's marking that last line of defence. Kicks it out. It'll go over 50. Lands in the breadbasket there of Paul Kelly. Famous name. He might sing us a song. So Paul Kelly comes out over 50. Goes to centre wing. Nice mark taken there for them by Bell Chambers. He's quickly on with play on the right foot. Oh, that was a courageous effort by the Scotch man. Had to perch himself on the front of the pack and take the crunch. Now the mark's been taken by Dickenberg. And sneaking around a bit. He'll be called to play on sometime soon. Oh dear, I'm not too sure what that was. Anyway, it was an attempted kick. Mitch Fleming, the captain, gets the footy, and out over the boundary line it goes. We've seen a bit of everything here in this first quarter. Big boundary throw in. Beat everyone, went over the back of the pack, and here goes Scotch through the agency of Pedley. Gets the ball down inside 50. Muller knocked out of the contest. They'll get back onto the footy here though. Long handball. No, he didn't. He decided to run with it, then bounced it and lost it. But they're still going to get out of this, I think. There goes the wide handball once again. The man that fumbled it, Pedley, fumbled it again. Now there's a push in the back, and it's going to be a St Pat's free. It was a St Pat's free kick, and they took it just as the siren went. So, at a quarter time, let's have a look at the scoreboard for you. As Arnie goes in to the scoreboard, and you can see 29 minutes and 18 seconds elapsed in that first quarter. Old Scotch kicked 6-3-39. St Pat's just with one goal straight. For Old Scotch, their goal kickers, 3 to the speedy Sean Smith. 1 each to Daniel Ellis, Jock Dark, and to Alex Saunders. And for St Patrick's, their lone goal kicker was Paul Kelly. So, quarter time break with us. We'll be back to give you the second quarter shortly.
Just a reminder for patrons, no alcohol is permitted on the arena. If you're currently out there on the ground with cans or whatever you're drinking, please leave the arena immediately.
Umpire just checking the ground here to make sure it's clear of spectators before we get underway with this second quarter. That was Nathan Bester having a wonderful time with his horn here today. Now it's taken out of the centre once again by Scotch through the agency of Tommy Allison. Gets it down towards the top of the 50. No one can win clean possession. St Pat's with a bit of work to do now in this second quarter. They trail by, Trail by 33 points as we head into this second term. And we await the boundary throw in on that far side of the ground. The reserves grand final decided here earlier today, of course. Saw St Pat's run out winners 2012 132 to Evandale 3-4-22. Evandale failing to manage a goal after half time. Ball up out there on centre wing once again. Lands in the hands there of Chris Hughes. Couldn't control it, but he struggled it forward eventually. A bit of a change in the wind direction here at Youngtown at the moment. We can feel it blowing a little more directly across the ground than it was earlier on in the day when it was favouring the southern end of the ground coming from the north. Old Scotch made plenty of use of it while it was there in that first quarter, and I reckon it still might just be favouring that end of the ground a little. Out of play over there on the centre wing before Ellis could get to it once again for Old Scotch. So 39 plays 6. Into the second quarter of the grand final, and the mark taken there for St Pat's by Teddy Davis. Goes with the big boomer inside 50, and it'll come out with an equally as big boomer, and Teddy will mark it again, will he? Yes, he does. Plays on. And he'll go back with another big boomer. So there's been 3 big boomers. What are you going to get? 6 white boomers, haven't you? We've now had 3 of them. And there's going to be a ball up inside 50. High in the air it goes by the umpire. McFadgen in there doing battle once again for Old Scotch. And Pat's trying to get round square onto the face of goal here. Finally get it back inside 50 with a high ball. And that's going to be a mark to Miller. Drags it down, James Miller. And he's going to have a shot at goal to see if he can put another major on the board for St Pat's. Handballs it off. Oh dear. Old Scotch man pushed in the back. And he's going to get the resultant free kick. Right in that last line of defence. Having a look at his options. He's not too sure where he's going to go, but in the finish, he goes to that far side again. Couldn't control the juggling mark there. Goes back in after it does Teddy Davis. Playing like a man possessed. Teddy. Here's a one-on-one contest in the centre square. Neither of the players could beat the other there. Going backwards but going nowhere. Swallow finally gets through traffic. Short kick. Gets it inboard. Here goes Ellis through the centre square. Long kick down looking for that speedy man Smith. He's got the ball again now. Tries to get out. Does get out eventually by hand to his teammate there in dark. They struggle the ball forward. There's going to be a free kick paid here. And it's going to go to St Pat's against the goal kicker, the leading goal kicker for the game so far in Sean Smith. And St Pat's take it back outside 50 to that far side. But it's going to come back in just as quickly. St Pat's flying shot, and they should take the mark in that last line of defence. They do. Close to the boundary line. Wobbly old kick. Punched out of play. Big punch coming from behind there by Chris Hay. And now we'll have the boundary throw in. Just outside 50. Main stand side of the ground. Davis pushes his opponent McFadgen out of the way, then palms it down. Whistle. And head-high contact there. The free kick will go to St Pat's Todd Rattray, the man that we didn't have a name for earlier on. Luke de Jong not watching the footy. Had no idea. It could have hit him in the back of the head. And he got hit in the head. Getting up to take the free kick. Chris Hughes goes into the middle. A little bit of hesitation. Then the quick kick forward eventually by Tom Pedley. Out come the Saints' defence. It was Nathan James gave it off. No, it wasn't Nathan James in actual fact. It was Todd Rattray again. Now, by hand, they come forward through Wilson. Do St Pat's, and that's a nice strong mark on the front of the pack, pulled down there by... Sorry? Bell Chambers, it is too. Josh Bell Chambers. And we've got the perfect angle here for you. Right behind the player Bell Chambers with his camera. Is Arnie from Carter Productions bringing you the pictures. And he'll guide us through this one. Bit of a divot there to the right. And it's grazed the post on the way through. So minor score. 117. Trails. 6-3. 39. 6 minutes gone in this quarter. Not much scoring going on in this second quarter as yet. Nice mark taken over there by the long arms of James Miller. He'll bring it back inside. Looking for, almost finding that man again in Bell Chambers. And he's got the free kick. Plays on quickly. Oh, he's put plenty of air into the footy. And that's what we need, a footy with air in it. And out over the boundary line on this side again. Boundary throw in. Ted Davis in there, almost took it out of the air, couldn't. Down to ground they all pile. Umpire hovering around, says give it to me. As they pick themselves up from the green grass here at Youngtown. Ted Davis wipes it out of there again. He's got a big frame, Teddy, and he just doesn't get off the ground very far, but he's a strong man. And now, Scotch get the resultant free kick. Almost raked in there by Tim Fall, but he couldn't quite control it. Putting his head down and getting the loose footy, getting it out there to Pedley. Pedley down the ground once again, almost to the 50, close to the boundary line, and the boundary line will win eventually before Muller can do anything with the footy. And plenty of interchange taking place here in front of us. As the boundary umpire tosses the ball back in over his head. No ruckman there at the contest that time. Ellis was about to go for the hit out. Caught with the footy there was number 14, Jake Terry, and free kick. At centre half back. Goes to the Saints and is kicked out by Mitch Fleming. To the other side of the ground he goes. Scotch will bring it back inside 50. They're playing a little better at the moment, Scotch. They're holding the opposition at bay. They've just allowed them that 1 point since quarter time. Old Scotch haven't added to their score, but they haven't let St Pat's add to theirs neither. So Ted Davis doing the ruck work, gets it down, comes over the back where Scotch win it again. No one can take clean possession. Ends up with McFadden. Quick hands. More quick hands. Hands again. Ball holding up in the breeze. Well, perhaps the breeze hasn't switched as much as we thought. That held up a long way in the breeze, that ball. Now, St Pat's will bring it back in and find Chris Hay at the back end of the centre square. On they go. This time it lands in the hands of Pearton. Pearton looks for a teammate inside the centre square and finds one. That teammate was Hay again. He's prominent in this second quarter. On they go. Lands in the hands down there of Bell Chambers. He swings around. Can't do anything with it. Ball not clear once again. There's a whistle on play. Play on, says the umpire. Advantage called. Pops it over the top. Can't do anything with the ball. Swinging around. In front of goal. Bouncing ball. No one can get to it. Scotch lead in the race. No, they don't. Working his way back in front there was Liam Reynolds. And the boundary line too close for all players. And out over it goes once again. In front of the white Little Athletics Club stand. Now, Southern Cross cameraman's arrived on the scene to get some news footage of our NTFA Division 2 Grand Final day here at Youngtown. And having a quick snap on goal and off to the left-hand side as we look at it was Chris Hay, continuing to be prominent in this second quarter, minor score. So, Nathan Best is not having much work to do on the scoreboard here, on the digital scoreboard, I might add. It's amazing. He can sit on one side of the ground and make the scoreboard work on the other. McFadden takes the mark, kicks it into the centre. A man on his own, perched under the footy, takes the mark there in Matthews. Right in the centre circle, as you can see on our picture there for you. He'll kick it down. Inside 50, it'll land. Oh, good mark. Strong mark. Taken down there, I think it's Matthew Harvey. Came from the side, got a good run at it, and going back a long way here. He'll end up at the airport in a minute. One back well inside the centre square. The man on the mark stands about 5 metres inside 50. And in he comes. Big, hefty kick. He's driven it a long way. The blokes in the goal square like it. He likes it. So he can go back to the airport any time he likes to have his kick at goal. Matthew Harvey, and now it was George Walker, was it? Sorry. Oh, well, it wasn't Matthew Harvey after all that. Sorry, Matthew. It's a 3-2 instead of a 2-2. Anyway, George has done it. George knew what he was up to, and he's kicked a goal. A handy one to the supposedly non-scoring end for Scotch. So it's 45 plays 8, and we've travelled 13 minutes in this second quarter. Now, can St Pat's do something here? Withers tries to get the ball forward, but Scotch, hungry for that footy. They've got McFadgen loose in the square, but no, he decides he wants to go. No, he does come into the square to Ellis in the finish. Been a little quieter since a very rapid opening of the game, Daniel Ellis. Gets it off. This time it's the man I was referring to, Matthew Harvey. I can tell, I should have known. He's got a little hat on. And mark in defence to Ted Davis again. Hasn't been St Pat's worst player, Ted. Goes sideways, looking for a teammate there in fall. Loose ball, dragged off it. Didn't have it, says the umpire, and he didn't. So Tom Hilda will get the free kick. Standing on the mark, Tommy Allison. Hilda, long one here to centre wing to our broadcast position. And Mark taken over the back safely by McFadgen. Been a good player for them in the 2 quarters thus far, has McFadgen. He kicks it down and perched underneath. It's Teddy Boy again. So, long raking kick by Davis. At the fall of the ball, De Jong, I think it was, snapped it over his shoulder. Scotch with the numbers. They'll run it out here through the agency of Swallow. Out to that far side wing again. They keep their feet well, do the Scotch players. Tap it around the boundary line. Now he's got to evade the tackle, but he didn't evade the boundary line. And the boundary umpire says, I'll have this one, boys. And he'll throw it in. Directly on the opposite side, centre wing. There's the throw-in. High in the air it goes. Ted Davis in there doing battle with McFadgen. Comes down to the front of the pack where St Pat's sweep it away. Looking for De Jong out here. The race is on. De Jong gets the ball. Handballs it away. Not overly effectively, however. Then goes back in and lays the tackle. Ball comes out. Scotch showing a good turn of pace. Keep the ball in play. A little bit of a hoo-ha. Here they go by hands, down the outside, looking for Tommy Allison. Can he pick it up? He does. He runs inside 50, hooks it back to the face of goal, and across the face of goal for a minor score. Now, St Pat's quickly out of defence. Find Davis on the back 50. He stabs it out in the direction of his teammate there in Miller, who falls over at a most inopportune time. St Pat's will bring the ball back in to the edge of the centre square. Bit of a zippity-doo-dah there. And around he goes, back inside 50 comes Scotch, over the back. It's going to be, no, it's not going to be a St Pat's mark. Play on, says the umpire, ends up in the hands of Wilson. Wilson takes it sideways and Scotch will bring it back in. So Old Scotch have all the answers at the moment. 46 playing 8, and that's going to be a handy lead if they can maintain that kind of a lead going into half-time. Advantage paid. Here comes St Pat's out of defence. They run it over 50. Wobbly old kick. It's going to work okay, though, because over the back was Brad Pearton sprinting onto the footy, but the footy sprinted away from him just as quickly and out over the line. Old Scotch boys down here working flat out on their magnetic board. Kimmy Curtis trying to work out the changes. Johnny Hill there, his assistant, and Scotch holding up now half back. They'll bring the ball out across here to the broadcast side of the ground. It'll land in the hands of Terry. Terry goes further down the ground, but all he can find is the vice-captain of St Pat's, Tim Fall. Adjacent to the centre circle. Mark taken there for St Pat's by Taylor. Here comes St Pat's inside again. Oh, almost marked there by Scollier. Ball to ground, and they're going to work this out again, Scotch, through Mackenzie. Played well in this quarter, Mackenzie. St Pat's, again, try to force the ball inside, but once again, Scotch are the ones that are reading the ball better, and they take it wide out to that far side flank. Trying to control the ball out there was Fotheringham. Couldn't. Another boundary throw in. A high boundary throw in at that. The pack fly, Ellis. Takes the ball off the pack. Gives it by hand to his teammate there in Seymour. Now advantage has been paid. St Pat's on with play. Should mark this. Doesn't, but he's going to get the free kick. Got a bit of a clip behind the ear. The big man. He slowly gets up. He'll get the footy when he works out where it is. So he'll go back, trying to crib a few metres. Paul Kelly. He'll sing a song if he puts this one through, Nathan. Man on the mark, some 25 metres out of goal. We've got the good angle. In he comes. Goal umpire does not have to move. So there's been 2 goals kicked for St Pat's, and both of them have been to number 14, Paul Kelly. So they move on to 2-2-14, trailing Old Scotch 7-4-46, and we've crossed the 20-minute mark of this second term. Sad day for Northern football fans with the announcement of the passing of great North Launceston stalwart Jimmy Ross. Great man Jimmy, squeezing the ball inside 50 once again is Scotch. Can they get a quick answer to that St Pat's goal? Trying to get through the traffic there was Allison, couldn't. Ball still inside their 50. Who's going to be first onto this loose ball? Hacked out of there by Big Ted. Now, on the run they go. Tommy Wilson gets it forward. Miller couldn't take it, tried to one hand, picked up there off the ground by Scollier. His hand pass is a bit wild and woolly, and the umpire right on the spot there says, I'll have it. We'll have a throw up. On the edge of the centre square, far side of the ground, ball thrown in the air. No one can get clean possession at the moment. A wild handball out, lands in the hands of Scotch. They can't take the ball, they lose it. No one knows quite where it is at the moment. Struggled forward by St Pat's, inside 50, now outside 50 from the big defensive punch. Now it's back inside 50, courtesy of an Old Scotch punch on that occasion. And out to the far side of the ground where it's gone out of bounds on the full at Gumtree Corner. Still a bit of breeze around here at Youngtown. We can see the trees over there moving quite strongly in the air. That's got to be a push out, has it not? Yes, it has. Kelly getting rid of his opponent, and the umpire seeing it the way I did. Daniel Ellis swooping on the loose ball. No one can get it out of there. De Jong goes in. He gives the handball over the top to Kelly. Kelly kicks it forward where all the numbers are with Scotch. So it's obviously been a priority of Kim Curtis to get the numbers back and defend that goal to which St Pat's are kicking, and they're doing it very well. Meantime, there's a bit of a struggle on the ground for the loose ball over there. Ted Davis couldn't control it, looks to the umpire. Meantime, the ball lands down on centre wing. Pack developing down there, tug of war, and the umpire will call for the ball up on that far side of the ground. Good crowd in here at Youngtown this afternoon for this Division 2 Grand Final. Free kick goes to St Pat's on that centre wing. Stabs it in. Whoa, met heavily there, but he gets up quickly. And that is Bellchambers. Accidental collision, but both men got up quickly. Ball taken there by Docking. Crowd called ball. The umpire's going to call ball too. His ball. And he'll throw it up. No one can take it cleanly, although Miller did eventually grab it out of the air, kicks it out in front of goal, comes towards this broadcast side of the ground. I've lost it behind the pole. Now I've got it. Can Scotch work it out of defence? Yes, here they come down towards centre wing. And the big goal kicker, George, takes the ball out over the boundary line, and the boundary umpire will do his work right in the interchange gate here at the Youngtown Oval. The culmination of the NTFA season. Luke De Jong went to give it by hand to a teammate, missed the target, and now Old Scotch will get a free kick. Quickly on with play. George will rake this one in. I bet you can't kick a goal from there, George. Around he goes onto the right foot. He's got himself into a bit of trouble. Takes it backwards and then the high tackle. And it's going to come back where George will get the free kick. George kicked that mammoth goal earlier on. He goes short to Allison. Allison goes short to Ellis. They're working the ball into their forward zone with short kicks. Ellis sells the dummy, then sprints around his opponent on the left foot. Bowled out over the line. Umpire says that's okay. And now St Pat's trying to bring it out of defence. Both hanging on there. Ball loose. Picking it up was Frankham. Oh, a bit of a push in the back there, I thought. No, yes, the umpire's finally picked one out of there. It's a high tackle. And St Pat's will win the free kick. Nathan James goes sideways, lands it in the hands of Wilson. Wilson plays on through the centre corridor and finds a teammate at the top of the square. That teammate was, in fact, Bellchambers, inside 50. But once again, the numbers back there are with Old Scotch. So now running it out, Docking. Hooks it back inside the centre square. It was a bit of a low-flying kick, very difficult to mark. His teammate couldn't, in fact. Now they pack up on the ground and the umpire will have another ball up. So Old Scotch leading 46-14 late in this second term. They'll go into the half-time break with a handy lead, and it's all catch up from here for the Sainers. Quickly onto his feet, and on he goes with the footy, does Ricky Evans. Now, long shot from outside, 50. Bouncing towards the boundary line. Muller tried to keep it in play, didn't. Not too sure what he's trying to explain there to the umpire, but anyway. Makes little difference as the boundary umpire is going to throw it in. Down to the front of the pack it came. And Nathan Bester ruins another scoring opportunity by deciding it's time to blow the end of the second quarter. So at the end of the second quarter, as the players prepare to jog off the ground, it's been a very good first half for Old Scotch. They lead at half time, 7-4, 46. St Pat's 2-2, 14. Goal kickers for Scotch to half time. We've got 3 to Sean Smith, didn't add to his tally in that second quarter. And we've got singles each to Alex Saunders, George Walker, Jock Dark and Daniel Ellis. And 4 St Pat's, they're one goal kicker, but with the 2 goals that they've kicked is Paul Kelly. So at half time as we go to the long break, 7-4, 46 Old Scotch, 2-2, 14 St Pat's, and we'll be back with the third quarter for you shortly.
It's half time in the semi-grand final. We've got Old Scotch 7-4, 46 to St Pat's 2-2, 14. Just a reminder for the patrons, no beverages permitted on the arena. Also for those that are following the scores in Hobart, with UFL Brisbane to Milwaukee, grand final, halfway through the second quarter.
So we're about to start the final 2 quarters of football for the 2015 season in the NTFA. The NTFA Division 2 Senior Grand Final taking place here at Youngtown this afternoon. Slightly overcast conditions, a bit of breeze to contend with coming in from the northwest now at around about 20 kilometres an hour. And hello, there's been a man felled here at outside the centre square at the southern end of the ground. Don't think there was too much in it, but he did hit the ground, the Scotch man. Andrew Scollier put him to the ground. Now the umpire holds the ball aloft and we'll get the all-important third quarter underway. Can St Pat's make some headway? Daniel Ellis, as he did in the first quarter, wins the first possession from the centre bounce and fires it inside 50. Ball towards the boundary line in that forward pocket, and that's where we'll have a boundary throw in. Started the first quarter magnificently, did Daniel Ellis, as did his teammate Sean Smith, kicking 3 goals in that first term. They go into this third quarter leading by 32. Someone who shall remain nameless says that Scotch will win by between 5 and 6 goals. And there's going to be a free kick to Scotch inside 50 here early in this third quarter. And it's the man that was lying prostrate on the ground, Chris Hughes, before the ball was bounced to start the quarter. He's got the free kick and he'll come in off about 3 steps, misses to his left-hand side. So a minor score to start the quarter, and he's now been flattened again, and now he's going to get another free kick. So some undisciplined play by St Pat's. The offender that time was Jacob Lowe. And now Chris Hughes will get a second chance at a goal. Not going to make the distance this time. Over the back of the pack, they couldn't bring the ball down to ground or into the hands of Old Scotch. So the boundary line wins out again. Don't know why they don't make see-through posts, Nathan, because I can't see through this one. Anyway, down to the ground it comes from the ruck contest. Sneaking it around the corner, Tommy Allison out on the full, says the boundary umpire. So there'll be a resultant free kick to be taken here. For that out on the full indiscretion, it's going to be taken by Tim Fall. He gets the ball to the 50-metre mark. Oh, almost taken there by McKenzie. Dropped in the finish. Ball close to the boundary line once again. And stacks on the mill. Umpire takes a long time to decide that it's not coming out of there. And finally we'll have a ball up. Adjacent to the boundary line. Inside 50. Teddy Davis still working hard in the ruck for St Pat's. Tried to belt the ball as far forward as he could. Now the mark's been taken here for them by Matthews. Been in there better players. Almost over the top mark held there for Old Scotch. He follows up nicely when the ball hits the ground. And he's kicked it high, wide and handsome. And a little too far. To the left once again. Quickly in with play. St Pat's lands in the hands out there of Tom Wilson. Scotch are going to bring this back into the front of goal. Oh, numbers there with St Pat's on this occasion. Kicked off the ground. And who was that, George Walker? We think it was George, and it was George. George gets his second goal. One in the second quarter, now one in the third. The one he got in the second quarter was a big booming goal from outside 50, kicking into the breeze. And now he's got one at the fall of the ball off the pack in the goal square, kicked it through. So, first goal in this vital third quarter to Scotch. 4 minutes gone, 54, plays 14. St Pat's, Teddy Davis doing a power of work in the ruck as he always does. You know, Ted's going to put in all day long. Dropped what he should have taken there, the St Pat's defender, but he's good enough to recover and kick it out to 50. Bounces out over 50. Can they control the bouncing ball? Yes, he sneaks it round the corner. There does Chris Hay. Trying to get it over the back. Boundary line wins. And then McKenzie spins the ball behind him, trying to hit his opponent. The umpire rides the bump from Dick and Bird as the boundary throw-in is about to take place. There it is. Davis in there doing battle with McFadgen. Ellis sprints away from the pack in familiar style. They all fall over, and there's going to be a free kick paid here to Scotch. And it's going to go to Sean Muller, who hasn't had a great many opportunities so far in the game, but now Sean Muller, if he's anything true to form, or his old form anyway, he will put this through, and I think he's missed it. No, he hasn't. Sean Muller gets it. Ball went away, but it went away after it had passed through for a goal. So he gets himself on the scoreboard as well. Sean Muller gives Old Scots their second goal in this third term, and he joins one of 6 goal kickers in the game for Old Scotch. So they're just generating a little too much run around the footy, Scotch. They're quicker to the loose ball, and they're converting their opportunities. And you don't have to do much else than that. And once again, their swoop on the loose ball. Inside 50 they go again. Races on. They've got their tails up well and truly, Scotch, at the moment. And there's going to be a ball up here. Umpire taking a long time to decide. It was pretty obvious that it wasn't going anywhere, I thought. Umpire Harris will throw the ball in the air, and he does. Davis in there trying hard once again. Can't get the ball clear. Another pack will develop here. This time the umpire's quicker on the whistle. And another throw up. Davis doing battle with McFadgen. Neither of them get off the ground. Davis wins the tap. Running through the pack, getting that loose ball. Tom Pedley shot on goal and missed everything, did he? He did. Missed everything. So Resultant free kick to Tim Fall. Now we're having a conference. Perhaps he didn't miss everything. What are we going to do? Well, after the three-way conference there, nothing came of it. Fall still got to kick the ball out for an out on the full, or kick the ball, sorry, back into play from an out on the full. Now, picked out of the air there by Terry. That's Jake Terry. He goes long and low. Oh, big clash there. One man coming back, one man coming forward. Ted stood his ground, then Ted run into trouble. But Big Ted's got the handball away, out into the hands there of Dickenberg. Dickenberg goes to centre wing. Here, now, can they make something of this, St Pat's? They sprint through centre wing. Bounce almost eluded him coming back up to him, but he's good enough to get it onto his boot and find Liam Reynolds. Reynolds quickly on with play down to full forward, and a good defensive mark taken down there for Scotch by Harvey. Harvey will bring it out where mark will be taken by Matthews. Matthews on in the Ellis direction. He was off with it before he got it, but he was good enough to recover and get the handball over the top where it lands in the hands of Pedley. Pedley back into the centre square. Quick hands once again teaming well, Old Scotch, and they take it inside 50. Man waiting over the back. That's the goal kicker. He can't get the ball clear. Finally does get the ball clear. And a snap on goal. And I think it is Chris Hughes, is it? We'll work it out in a minute for you, but it's an Old Scotch goal regardless. Josh Matthews we're going to give it to. So if it wasn't, we're going to blame a gentleman by the name of... No, we won't. It's anonymous. Doesn't matter. Goal to Old Scotch. Old Scotch get their 10th. 10-6-66. 2-2-14. Back in the centre. Underway. Ellis again takes the ball. Down to the top of the 50. Old Scotch player going in, had his head down, was tackled high, but then put his head down. He says he's trying to get the ball, but no. Chris Hughes says, just take it easy. Ted Dudman they used to play with Evandale, excuse me. It was Ted Davis, it starts with D. Down to the front of the square, can he be paid the mark? He is. The umpire said yes, you controlled it well enough. And it's George of the Jungle again, is it? It is. George Walker. Juggled the mark, did enough to please the umpire. And now he'll be looking for his third goal in the game to join Sean Smith, who's also got 3. Man on the mark. Just on the outside edge of the goal square. In he comes. And no doubt about it, George gets 3 for the game. 2 in this third quarter. And Old Scotch making it extremely difficult for St Pat's from here. They've marched away to 11-6-72. 2-2-14. Not only are Old Scotch winning the football around the ground fairly easily on most occasions, they're also kicking pretty accurately. 11 goals, 6. McFadden wins the tap out this time in the centre. They work their way forward once more. Now, can St Pat's make something of this as they try to bring it around this broadcast wing? Nice mark taken there by Dickenberg. He's quickly on with play. They run themselves into a bit of trouble here and have to get rid of it quickly again. Now they're forced backwards, lands into the hands of Withers. Withers takes it down inside 50, but the mark's taken there in defence. 3 Old Scotch players hovering around the footy. Comes out here to Ellis on the wing and takes the chest mark, then quickly by hand gives it to Mackenzie. Mackenzie lands it in the centre circle in the arms of Pedley. Pedley quickly on with play, bouncing ball inside the arc. St Pat's over there on a 2-1 contest. They can't control the footy, however, and it's out over the line off the hands of Scollier. Sun comes out again here at Youngtown. It's been that kind of a day. The sun comes, the sun goes. In comes the footy. Reaching up, George Walker from the back of the pack. Ellis perching himself behind, a kick behind play, takes the mark and finds his teammate there. And that teammate is Fotheringham. Alec Fotheringham will kick from just inside 50. Man on the mark stands at about 45. In he comes. Crosses the line, gives it plenty of air. It's going to land right in the square, off the hands of Ted Davis. Gives chase when it comes to ground. No one can get the ball. Yes, they can. Scotch drive on it, can't get a clean kick away. Fotheringham pack forms. They all go to ground, and umpire Harris, it is again, will come in and throw the ball up. This time it's St Pat's win it out. McKenzie drops the mark, probably should have taken it. Play on, or advantage is called as St Pat's streak out of defence. Mark taken there for McFadden. Quick hands, gives it away to the speeding Adam Docking. Docking inside 50. Who's going to win the bouncing ball? No one cleanly. St Pat's get it, then break the tackle, now run away with it. Old Scotch blind turn just as he took charge of the footy into the hands there of Terry. And Terry is crashed to the ground. The pack come in on top of him. And there'll be a throw up. McFadden racing to this ruck contest. Doing battle with Davis. Davis flung out of the pack. Struggling the ball along the ground there, Scotch. Into the front position. And kicking it out of defence, Mitchell Fleming. And Lux of Fortune has fallen in the arms of Miller, I think it is. Big kick out the centre wing. Gives the ball plenty of air. Mark taken out there by Chris Hay. Hay looking to go further around that far side of the ground. Whistle on play. Free kick to St Pat's. Not too sure what to do with it. Not much on offer down the ground for him. So he decides just to kick it in hope. Lands in the hands there on the front of the pack of Miller. He sneaks it around the corner. Bouncing ball, and it's out of bounds on the full. And the resultant free kick will go to Scotch. So Kim Curtis down here for Old Scotch, still pacing up and down, watching what goes on out there on the ground. Bit of a wild handball, not exactly constructive, but they're going to get a free kick out of this, St Pat's. And it in fact went to Bellchambers, who stabbed it into the forward pocket. Once again, the numbers with Scotch. Comes to Ellis, he gives it back. Now they'll run it out. Scrubby old kick, but it's going to work okay. Lands in the hands there of Hughes. Hughes with a quick handball. That was a bad handball on that occasion by Fotheringham. That allows St Pat's to go forward once again by Morosini, and it lands in the hands of Luke de Jong just inside 50. Now, if Luke's kicking has been anything to take note of today, he won't get the distance, but he could make a big liar of us here, and he's given it plenty of air, and it's floated across the face through for a minor score. So, the first score for, no, second score for St Pat's in this quarter, no, first score for St Pat's in this quarter, just the 1 point. They've moved on to 15. Trailing, Scotch are on 72. Mark taken there for them by Kelly, the big man who's been their only goal kicker in the game. Now stationed out here on centre wing and across the back line, I think. Another pack developing here. And this time it'll be umpire Thompson to do the ball up work. Throws it up. McFadden doing battle in there with Miller. Striding through the pack and clearing it out of there is Docking once again, playing a sterling game in defence. Docking. Now, St Pat's go forward again. This time Dickenberg takes the ball forward. Ball on the ground. No one can win it cleanly. Bit of a push and a shove. Now they all pile in on top. Oh, St Pat's get it out of there somehow. They're going to have a snap on goal. Here, and he misses to his near side for another minor score in the quarter, just their second behind in the quarter that's 18 minutes old, the third quarter, and Scotch lead 72-16. And you would be hard-pressed to see St Pat's coming back from here, just not playing well enough. There's going to be a kick down the ground, pushed after he disposed of the ball was Andrew Scollier, and the free kick will go down the ground to be taken by Chris Hay. A lot of work to do here, St Pat's. Taking his time over the shot, in he comes. Oh, a bit of a Josh Kennedy. Does the stutter and the stamina, but I tell you what, he's bent that all right, I reckon. And he has. Started it out to his left-hand side, let the breeze do the work for him. So Chris Hay becomes a goal kicker in the game for St Pat's, and he gets a third quarter goal. And finally, they move off that 2-goal tally, move on to 3. 3-4-22. Now trail by 50 points. 72 to Old Scotch. Toss up in the centre. Can they go forward again? They can, off the boot of Williams. Docking in there once again, doing a lot of powerful work for his team. And now the umpire will ball it up. Miller gives it back. McFadden and Miller will do battle in this ruck contest. McFadden gets the knock away. Ellis with quick hands. Now he's going to have to go back in because it didn't go where he wanted it to. There's going to be advantage paid here. Striding inside and giving a 15.1 metre pass to his teammate. And it was taken there on his toes by Bellchambers. And I reckon if the umpire had got the measuring tape out, he might have found he was pretty kind in the finish. In comes Bellchambers. And Bellchambers has goal. So a late rally in this third quarter from St Pat's. First, Hay kicks a goal. Now, Bellchambers kicks one. And they make their score look a little more respectable at 4-4-28, trailing Old Scotch, who are 11-6-72. Southern Cross cameraman's seen enough. He's going. And now Daniel Ellis sprints away with a footy, gets it inside. Mark taken down there. Strong hands. Old Scotch going to get the reply here through Sean Muller, who's come into the game a bit in this third quarter, playing a little deeper in the forward line than he was earlier in the game, and now he lines up for his second goal. And there's not too much doubt about that. Sean Muller puts through his second goal and answers the 2 previous goals from St Pat's. And they move on to 12-6-78, 4-4-28 to St Pat's. Crowd getting a bit rowdy down here in front of us. The Old Scotch crowd. They've got reason to be rowdy. And in the centre, Miller versus McFadden. Ball locked up, going nowhere. Umpire says it's mine. Throws it up. Teddy Davis, false start. Up and down before the ball got there. They get it back inside. No, they don't. It's squeezed out of there by St Pat's. Once again, the numbers are here, though, with Old Scotch. They win the ball out the back of the pack. Just struggle it forward as best they can. Smothered there by Hilda. But here goes Scotch back inside once again. Muller chasing the ball to the boundary line. It's bounced over the boundary. No, it's on the fall, in fact. Sean Muller knew that as he comes well inside the ground for the kick in. Picked out of the air there by De Jong. Stabs the ball down further around the wing where the mark's taken by Tom Wilson. He goes short also. A bit hopeful. Racing onto the ball, Scotch. Now they'll take it forward. It's going to be picked up here, I think, by that man with number 6, Mackenzie, on his back again. Trying to get through traffic. They do get through traffic. Straightens up and misses to the near side. Kim Curtis would have liked to have seen that been a goal, I think, by the look on his face. Outside they go to 50 once again, but it's going to come back in. Oh, bit of an unrealistic jump. No one can get the loose ball. Muller goes in after it. He's tackled and pushed to the ground. Ball up is the result. Davis in there, still working tirelessly, doing the backline ruck work, allowing Miller to have a bit of a spell. Now, not a clean pickup by Swallow. Tug of war developing here. Umpire says that's not coming out of there in any hurry. Players starting to get a little tired. Davis takes a swipe, but McFadden takes a swipe. Neither of them actually swipe it. It being the football, there's a struggle forward once again. Out it comes to Teddy. Teddy's tackled. Teddy's down. And Teddy's sat on. But Teddy's up. So Davis to do the ruck work with McFadden. McFadden outsmarts him this time and gets the punch away, but to no one in particular. Ball struggled inside 50 by someone. George over there giving chase. George Walker can't catch his opponent there, who was Fall. Down around the wing it goes. And mark couldn't be taken by Chris Hay, one of the goal kickers for St Patrick's in this quarter. Bill Chambers being the other one. 79 plays 28. Daniel Ellis comes off for a spell. Ball inside 50 for St Pat's on this occasion. Now wide open spaces out on this side of the ground. Scotch fight one another over the footy. Taken in the finish by Terry. He tries to break the tackle. The umpire said you had prior opportunity. And the resultant free kick's going to go to Wilson. Umpire said, no, it's not going to you. It's going to your teammate in Dickenberg. So Brad Dickenberg will, I think, attempt to have a shot on goal here. He'll go to the goal square, almost a St Pat's mark on the front of the pack, comes to ground. Docking gets a handball away. Old Scotch ends up with the numbers to run it out of here. They get it to centre wing. Oh, that was a bit of an overrun by the Scotch man, but now it goes down in the direction of the Old Scotch 50. This time St Pat's will run it back out, but it'll fall straight into the arms of their opposition on centre wing. Far side of the ground. We wind towards the end of this third quarter, 28-minute mark. Clever work, tap down there. St Pat's going nowhere in a hurry, however. Plenty of use of the footy, but not much yardage gained at the moment, or meterage, whatever the word is these days. And finally, the boundary umpire will win the contest over there, and he'll throw it in again. Healthy crowd watching this Division 2 Senior Grand Final between Old Scotch and St Pat's. St Pat's beaten in the major semi by Old Scotch by just 2 points. Margin looks like being a bit more than that at the moment. St Pat's suffering their only defeat of the season back then with that 2-point defeat. And now Sean Muller takes another strong grab inside 50. At his best, he could kick this. Not too sure how powerful the legs are these days. He thinks he can kick it. Everyone sagging back toward the goal square. In he comes. He's given it a good old heave-ho. And I think it was touched on the line. Thought it cleared the pack. The Scotch crowd down in front of us thought it had cleared the pack, but not quite. So, 3-quarter time. 1 quarter left in the NTFA season of footy for 2015. At 3-quarter time, we'll go to the scoreboard and have a look at the score for you, and it will read 12-8 to Old Scotch, which tallies to be 80, and St Pat's on a 4-4, 28. The players are going to their huddles for 3-quarter time. Old Scotch with a handsome lead of, 52 points? 52 points. So, 1 quarter of footy left in season 2015, and Old Scotch in the driver's seat at present.
At 3-quarter time, we've got Old Scotch 12-8-80, St Pat's 4-4-28. And for those following the statewide grand final, halfway through the third quarter, North Rochester 8-8-56 to Gawalpi 7-7-49.
Okay, folks, here we go. Final turn. The culmination of season 2015. But no, false start. We're still waiting for the Old Scotch supporters to get off the ground down here in front of us. There was a fair old gathering around the Scotch huddle at three-quarter time. And now they're taking their time to get through the little gateway here down in front of us. So Old Scotch looking for 3 grand finals in a row. 2013, 2014. And barring some superhuman effort from St Pat's, they'll be the 2015 premiers as well in Division 2. Ellis, as he's done all day around the packs, goes in and gets the ball and feeds it out to the runners on the outside. They take the ball to 50, but it's going to be repelled this time by St Pat's and kicked out of there by Morosini. Through the centre square they go. Lands in the hands there of Kelly. Kelly's been their only multiple goal kicker in the game thus far. And inside 50 it goes for St Pat's. Stacks on the mill and there'll be a ball up. Don't forget today's pictures are being brought to you by Carter Productions. Arnie and his crew down there in George Street for anything that you need in the way of video and audio production and or video audio conversions. Arnie's the man to see in George Street in Launceston. Carter Productions. Ball out of bounds on the centre wing. 80 plays 28. Just 1 minute gone in this final term. St Patrick's going towards the airport end of the ground, the southern end of the ground, which has been favoured by the breeze most of the day. Old Scotch in this term will be going to the city end of the ground. They only managed 1 goal last time they went to that end of the ground. They've kicked 6 and 5 respectively to the end to which St Pat's are now going. Old Scotch have kicked. But St Pat's have only managed to kick 4 goals for the day. 2 of those being in that third quarter to what we've assumed has been the non-scoring end. Boundary throw in out there midway between half forward and centre wing. Kicked out of the pack by Scotch. Close to the boundary line. I think that might have come out off the boot of Allison. And it'll be a free kick as a result of out on the full. Down to centre wing it goes. St Pat's sweeping the ball around that wing. No one can take clean possession. Comes out in the direction there of Lindsay. Ball beats him out over the boundary line as well. So, yet another boundary throw in. So Scotch dropping the spare man back in defence. Ball will go back here to Davis with the free kick. Stabs it out in the direction of his teammate Hay. Swept away here by the defenders of Old Scotch, however, as Swallow sprints through the centre square, delivers it on to the chest of Saunders. Winds up, gets it inside 50. His teammate fell over, George Walker there at an inopportune time. Goes in hard, battling for the footy. He's going to get locked up in there, surely. Yes, it is, says the umpire. And out in front of the scoreboard, you can see just in the background of your picture there, which says 4-4-28 to St Pat's and 12-8-80 to Old Scotch. Ball coming out of that pack. Reaching up from the back, McFadgen. Ball comes to ground. Can anyone take clean possession? Yes, they can. Ellis getting the ball off again by handball. He's done that all day long. And this time the mark will be taken by Chris Hay. He's battled hard for his side all day, Chris Hay. Sees a free man here right on the 50 and he puts it on his chest. That man being Scotch. Scotch hooks it out in front of goal. Big leap coming from the back. Dragged to the ground there by Frankham, I think it was. They run the ball out now. Has a bounce inside 50. Advantage called. They keep playing. Gets his kick just in time. Not a good kick. Cut off there by Reynolds. And in the hands of Scottier again. Goes short, looking for and finding the big man there in Miller. So Miller, James Miller. Going to have a ping at this. He does the Lacroix thing and brings the ball up in front of his eyes, lines it up, puts it down into the square. Big fist on the ball from the Scotch defenders. Minor score to St Pat's. They're not going to make too many inroads with minor scores. 4-5-29, trails 14-8-80. 12-8-80, sorry. 12-8-80. And a big leap over the back from McFadden. Out with a long kick to the wing. And the boundary line's the winner once again. So the boundary umpire prepares to bring it in. In there, Davis versus McFadden. Ellis with quick hands once again. Who's going to be first onto the footy? Grabbed there for St Pat's by Taylor. He's dragged to the ground. Grabbed there by Davis. Wild handball, but they've got it going forward. Juggling mark taken there in defence for Scotch. Kicks to the front edge of the square. They rove the pack. No one can win clean possession. They're all getting pretty tired and scrambly now out there on the footy ground. Grabbed for St Pat's by Morosini. Scotch run the ball out over the boundary line and we'll have a boundary throw in right on the 50-metre arc. Here at Youngtown, the game winding to a close. 7.5 minutes gone in the final term. Nice turn through the pack there by Fall. He's also been one of St Pat's better players, particularly since half-time. And it's out on the full. The resultant free kick to be taken down here by Swallow. Goes short. Frankham gets the ball well inside 50. Bouncing ball through for a minor score. So it's 12-9-81. Playing 4-5-29. Long kick out to 50. Mark taken on the front there by St Pat's. Front man wins the contest. And Chris Hay gets another possession. Spots up a man right on the edge of the centre square and finds him. Reynolds went to play on, thought better of it. Comes sideways to De Jong. He'll go back from whence it came, right into the centre circle. Nice mark taken in there by Paul Kelly. The only multiple goal kicker for his team. Well, they're working the ball slowly forward. No one can take the mark, comes to the ground. Now they can run it out. Alec Fotheringham for Scotch, but it's going to be marked there by Teddy Davis. Playing that kick behind play. Went to give it off and decided not to, so he's going to come back into the centre square to De Jong. De Jong will play on quickly and come slightly backwards over here to Scolia, having a bit of trouble penetrating this strong defence of Old Scotch, going to the ground after what appeared to be a slightly high tackle, Tommy Wilson, and now there's going to be a free kick paid, and it's going to St Pat's, and it's going to their number 30, who is Todd Rattray, the man we couldn't find early, but we've found him. And he's floated it to his left and minor score. So, not a great deal of scoring going on in the first 10 minutes of this final term. Neither team have been able to find the big opening yet. Here comes Scotch again, taking the ball backwards themselves this time, then spearing it forward, looking for Smith, couldn't take it. McFadden in there battling hard as he's done all day, and he wins the hard footy. Then he lays the tackle. Great play by McFadden, inspiring play, in fact. And now we'll have a ball up. That enthused the Scotch crowd to see the big man fighting hard over the back of the pack, running into an open goal. James Miller, one of the hardest battlers on the ground for St Pat's all day long, and he finally is rewarded with a major score, the first one in this final term, kicked by St Pat's, and James Miller moves their score on to 5-6-36, trailing Old Scotch, who are 14-9-81. I keep reading the 12 as the 14. The 12 is a 14. It's a 12. The failing numbers of the electronic scoreboard. Or could it be my failing eyes? Meantime, back in the centre of the ground. McFadden doing battle in there with Davis. Scotch take the loose ball forward inside 50 and plucked out of the air over there quickly to his feet. Long kick right to the goal square. Mark taken down there and allowed to play on quickly was Illingworth. Back outside, but Scotch are going to send it back in. Mark this time taken for them by Seymour. Stabs it inside to the lead of a teammate who couldn't take the mark. There's a bit of slip sliding going on over there. Out over the boundary line. Davis in there to do battle once again, gets his fist to the ball and thumps it outside 50. It'll come back in again, as it seems to have done on numerous occasions during the afternoon here. St Pat's work it out to 50 this time. Now, on they go. Fumble at a critical time. Maybe they'll get out of it. Yes, they will. One bounce. Long handball. Puts his teammate under pressure. Dumped to the ground. Getting onto the loose ball, however, was Withers who followed it up. Now it's close to the boundary line in the hands of Hay. Hay turns it around inside. And the big man can't mark this one. Out over the boundary line off his hands. The hands of James Miller, who kicked that last goal for St Pat's. And now he'll go back and do the ruck work. Boundary throw, and he gets it over the back. Can they do something with it? That's been the problem for them all day. Dancing around his opponent but not going far. Touched off the boot. Did he drop the footy? No, said the umpire. Now it'll come out in the direction of Harvey. Back inside it goes, racing to the ball, marking it on his own. Difficult mark, but he took it with Seymour. He gets it out towards the wing where Big George picks it up, kicks it downfield further, approaching the 50 on that outer side of the ground. Big clash in the pack there. They've got the numbers once again. Caught with a footy, and that's what the umpire decides also. He said, I handballed it, umpire, but no, said the umpire. You didn't. Not to my satisfaction anyway, so St Pat's quickly on with it now. They've got some run in the centre. Big man there, Kelly, caught with the footy, gets it away. Now, can they take the mark inside 50? They can. Falls into the hands there of Daniel Withers. Withers will go back as this game winds down. 15 minutes old, this final term. Withers taking his time over the shot. They've all sagged back to the goal square. Gives it plenty of air, and the players behind the goal like it. The goal umpire likes it. So Daniel Withers gets a fourth quarter goal for St Pat's, and they now move on to 6-6-42. So they kicked one in the first quarter, one in the second quarter, then managed two in the third, and now they've managed another two in this final term. 81 plays 42. Coach Curtis will be wanting his Old Scotch boys to finish the game off. They're going to get a free kick there for a high tackle, and slowly getting up with the footy. Kicks it forward, plenty of height in that one, allowing Muller to have a leap at it, but he was caught behind. Comes to the ground where it's picked up by Wilson. Wilson out where it's marked by Hay. Been busy. Hay inside, sees a loose player, lands it on his chest on the top of the centre square, Brad Pearton. Pearton will sneak it inside. Can they do something at full forward? No, they can't. Comes off the hands of the pack. Underneath it goes. Tug of war developing here. No one's going to win the footy. And there'll be a ball up. Centre half forward in the corridor. Got down by Miller. Can his little men do something? No, they can't. It's going to be held up once again. Field umpire says it's mine. Daniel Ellis ready to go back on the ground down here for Scotch, along with Rattray for St Pat's. Boundary line wins out again. No, free kick. So Scotch will bring this ball out of defence. Right down in front of our camera position. They keep it going around the boundary line. Walker holds his position strongly, gathers the loose ball, then's tackled, then drops it. St Pat's allowed to play on, take advantage they do, and they landed on the chest of a teammate there in Dickenberg, and he in turn lands it on the chest of an opposition player. Bit of messing around going on here at the moment, as both teams start to feel the tiredness in the legs. Final quarter, 18 minutes old. Davis swipes it out of there for St Pat's. Now they've got a chance to bring it out in front of goal, and they do. The big man flies. Miller brings it to ground. And here comes Scotch. An errant handball allows them to intercept. Two bounces. Then he's got to get a kick away. George Walker leads in the race for the ball. He'll give it back to Jockey coming out of defence. He's been a stout defender all day, this fella. He's a strong body, works hard, and now he jogs back down to his position in the back line as the boundary throw-in takes place, taken off the pack there by Taylor for St Pat's. Once again, finds an opposition man on the top of the 50. De Jong leaps high over the top of Allison, the boundary line will win this contest. And now, De Jong and Frankham exchange pleasantries. Bit of a show of strength late in the game by the boys. And picked up by Dark. Kicked the goal from a 50-metre penalty in that first term. Now Ellis has got himself free in the centre square again. Kicks it out wide. Now goes out on the chase. Was that a high tackle? No, out over the boundary line. And we'll have a throw in over there in front of the Towns Engineering Pavilion. The pavilion. And there'll be another throw in front of the pavilion. Davis palming it down to the front. Scotch with the numbers out the back. Got a man running free through the corridor, but they decide to go longer. Now, tucks the ball under his arm. Does the St Pat's defender. Gets it into the centre where the hard-working Miller takes it. But there's going to be a resultant mark. To Scotch, and here's Docking with the ball. Docking goes forward and it's marked by Kelly. Kelly's off and running to 50. His teammate will get a free kick. Interfered with in the marking contest. On they go. No, they don't. On they go. They'll come back. Umpire not satisfied that the player was behind the mark. So Wilson will get a second opportunity as the numbers flood back into defence for Old Scotch. 21 minutes gone, 81 playing 42. So in he comes. Tom Wilson. Down to the square, big leap from the back by Miller, punched away from the front by the Scotch defence. They've defended well, Old Scotch, all day. They've got numbers back. They've clogged up that 50-metre arc on countless occasions when St Pat's have been in attack. The Old Scotch coaching staff have worked to perfection, and now it's kicked outside 50 once again. St Pat's spilled the mark over there. Oh, bad handball that time. Scotchman throws his opponent to the ground. Now there's another tackle coming up on De Jong. Ball's loose once again. So still going forward in the Scotch direction, being bundled forward towards the boundary line as some of the crowd are starting to depart the Youngtown Oval. There's some gaps in the car spaces around the ground now. They were nice and full early in the day, and the boundary umpire prepares to do his work on that far side of the ground once again. In it comes the Old Scotch crowd, happy with their team. Front position here, can't take the mark. Through they come once again. Mark taken this time for them by Fotheringham. Quickly on with the game. No interference in the marking contest. Swooping onto the ball here will be Mackenzie. Can't get it out. Bit of a stalemate developing down there in the forward pocket. Stepping through the pack neatly was Jock Dark. And as if he was kicking in the dark, put it straight out over the boundary line on the full. So, St Pat's back to centre wing. Now they've got a chance to step through traffic, and they do. I think that was Rattray. Over the back, a nice little nudge goes to Wilson, and he runs inside 50, has a good look at the sticks, and he misses. to the near side, much to the satisfaction of the Scotch crowd down here in front of us. 2 footies on the ground at the minute. So Scotch have had all the answers all day long, got away to a good start in that first quarter where they kicked 6-3 to just the one straight goal for St Pat's. And St Pat's have never been able to recover from that early first quarter onslaught. They trail 43 to 81. And Scotch had an airy there, get it back in again. Mark dragged in late in the game by Dickenberg, and feeling the game pressure in his legs, a little bit of cramp. He'll go back and endeavour to make that St Pat's score a little bit more respectable as Chris Hughes comes off down in front of us and Jake Cherry going back on, and the shot missed. So Dickenberg kicked to his near side and a minor score. Daniel Ellis reading the play well once again. Spears the ball towards centre wing. This time it's going back in the St Pat's direction. Speared in there by Pearton and Mark. Paid to St Pat's. And not a great deal of energy left in too many of them at the moment. Josh Bellchambers with the footy. George Walker comes off the ground for Scotch. Bellchambers lines up for his second goal, and the goal umpire takes a one step to his left and watches it sail over the top of his head. Another goal to St Pat's in this final term. Bellchambers becomes just the second multiple goal kicker for the Saints. Paul Kelly with a goal in the first and a goal in the second, and now Bellchambers with a goal in the third and a goal in the fourth for his 2 goals. 27 minutes gone. Not much time left in the quarter. Sean Smith kicks the ball a little the wrong way. St Pat's combining well around that outside flank and put it out on the full. So Scotch will get a chance to bring it back in. 31-point lead to Scotch at the 27.5-minute mark of this final term. No one can take the mark over there. I think it was Ted Davis who's just about run out of puff. Worked tirelessly all day for his side. His side just hasn't played well enough. And now St Pat's making a change down here, going back on James Miller. And coming off Chris Hay for a well-earned rest. Pack developing again over there on that far side wing. Ball going nowhere. St Pat's grab the loose footy and kick it forward. No one can mark it. Boundary line looms again. Boundary line wins again. No. Free kick. Free kick to Old Scotch. Way over there on the distant side of the ground. Around the wing they go. Big leap. And the siren rings for the final time on the 2015 NTFA season. The Division 2 Grand Finals played here at Youngtown this afternoon, and the Senior Grand Final being won by Old Scotch, and they've gone back to back to back. 3 times premiers in the last 3 years. Old Scotch win the Grand Final, as you can see on your screen, 12-9-81 to 7-8-50, and now they'll go and celebrate their big victory. Goal kickers for Old Scotch. We had 3 to George Walker, 3 first quarter goals to Sean Smith, 2 to Sean Muller, 1 each to Daniel Ellis, Jock Dark and Alex Saunders, along with Josh Matthews. And for the Saints, there was 2 to Paul Kelly, 2 to Josh Chambers, 1 to James Miller, 1 to Daniel Withers, and 1 to Chris Hay. So the final score, 12-9-81 to Old Scotch. St Pat's is 7-8-50 in the NTFA Division 2 Senior Grand Final for 2015. Shortly we'll be back with the presentations down here in front of us, where Old Scotch will receive the Premiership Cup and their medallions for winning the Premiership.
Once again, congratulations to Old Scotch for taking up the Division 2 Senior Premiership for 2015. I'd now like to call forward the President of the NTFA, Mr. Ian Morrison, and also the President of Old Scotch, Nick Denton, to report the Premiership Board. Nick Denton. And now let's call forward from the Minister for the NTFA to present the favourite award to the Burial Medal for the players to start just on the ground for the Grand Final. And that goes to Old Scotch player, Rocky Patrick. Number 4,
Out the way. Don't speak right into it.
Number 5, Scott Brown. Number 6, Alex Number 29, 46. Number 32, George Walker. Number 32, Carol Hill. Number 36, Alex Corbin. Number 46, John Moore. Number 38, Josh Matthews. Number 59, Josh Michael. Josh Michael. And the captain of Old Scotch, number 23, Michael Harmon. First of all, I'd like to thank Laurie and Back Boys for a great year. It's been tough going to undefeated and maintain that pressure for all year, but pretty happy we were able to maintain the second game. I'd like to thank our spectators, put the bias all year, all cut you at the start, but we've stuck by us, got the job done in the end.